Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
Hello guys, you are once again welcome to PENDREAM TV, your number one political show in Ghana and beyond. Today I want you to join me.
Devise a mechanism for dealing with budgeting for these independent constitutional bodies. We may say that the Constitution insulates them from control, but the executive arm of government will use financial provisioning as a tool for control. And so, Mr. Speaker, it is my proposal as chairperson of that committee that this House must develop a mechanism for determining budgetary allocation to these institutions. So instead of the leadership of these institutions engaging directly with the Minister of Finance, where they are given ceilings by the Minister of Finance and given their weaker political weight, they have difficulty pushing to get what they actually need to perform their constitutional roles. It is my view that going forward, this Parliament should be the institution that interfaces between these independent constitutional bodies and the Ministry of Finance in the determination of what should go to these independent constitutional bodies. At the time of designing our Constitution, the institutions that the framers expressly thought to insulate by way of protecting the processes of budgeting for them have been the Parliament itself and the judiciary, where there is a mechanism that sorts of protect the judiciary, for instance, in terms of determining their budget. But for the other independent constitutional bodies, even though the same mechanism of non-control which the Constitution provides in relation to the judiciary is also provided for in relation to these independent constitutional bodies, the Constitution did not go further to provide a mechanism for budgeting for them that actualizes the desire of the framers to have these bodies to be really independent and not subject to any form of control. And so, Mr. Speaker, whilst I support the motion and urge that we approve it, going forward, for all the independent constitutional bodies, we may want to make provisions in our standing orders that require that they bring their proposals to Parliament. We consider their proposals. And if we deem it fit that these independent constitutional bodies should be given those sums that they require to do their work, or why not, we should then make that presentation to the Minister of Finance for consideration and for them to capture it in the budget estimates that will be brought to Parliament. As it is now, they are invited to the Ministry of Finance, they are given a ceiling, and they can't negotiate their way out. And every year they come, they complain about inadequate provisioning. Even what has been approved, a lot of it is not released to them. And so increasingly, we find these pillars of democracy not functioning to the extent that we want them to function, and undermining our democracy. It's the same with Raj, it's the same with Audit Service, it's the same with National Media Commission, and now we see new media, and we see the abuse of new media, and the National Media Commission is weak and therefore cannot protect the citizenry against the abuses that we see in the new media. It is all because of the weak budgetary allocation that they have suffered over the years. And so this House must find a mechanism to protect these independent constitutional body in the process of budgeting for them, and to ensure that we negotiate and get proper budgetary allocations for the independent constitutional body. I thought to draw attention to this. I think it's a constitutional, weakness, and in future, the Constitutional Review Commission should take it on board. But even as we are waiting for the outcome of the work of the Constitutional Review Commission, I think that as a Parliament, we can provide for it in the standing orders of Parliament, because the Constitution says that the mechanism by which the appropriation bill should be approved should be determined by us. And so we can put in our standing orders provisions that make special arrangement for the consideration of the budget of independent constitutional bodies to actualize the desire of the Constitution that these bodies should indeed be insulated from all manner of executive control. On that note, Mr. Speaker, I thank the seconder of the motion and urge colleagues to approve the sum of 203,569,245 Ghana cedis for the services of the Electoral Commission for the year ending 31st December 2026. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You've agreed. Yes, Honorable Samuel Abu Jinapo.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the motion requesting for the amount as stated for the Electoral Commission. Mr. Speaker, and also to associate myself with the sentiments expressed by the majority leader and to say, Mr. Speaker, that budgeting and allocation of public funds historically and contemporary has been a major tool, Mr. Speaker, for a major tool of control. And Mr. Speaker, if I may stretch it even further, this House, Parliament itself, I should say, not only the independent constitutional bodies of our state or of our country are susceptible to the use of budgeting, Mr. Speaker, as a tool of control. Even Parliament and the budgeting process we have in our country, which means that literally all institutions and organs of state are subject to more or less the discretion of the Ministry of Finance and for that matter, the executive and government, Mr. Speaker, continues to be a major avenue and a major lever of control of institutions who are required to be independent and assertive. Mr. Speaker, in the Congress of the United States, the experts will say that their source of strength is because of their much more control of the budgeting process and their capacity and mandate pursuant, Mr. Speaker, to the Budget Act of 1921, which gives them the mandate to literally determine the contours of budgeting and are able to increase or reduce whatever allocation the Treasury presents to the Congress. So it's important, and I think that we've also had a history in our country, I think sometime in 2004, when issues of even procurement by the Electoral Commission became a subject matter of intense public discussion vis-a-vis whether or not the executive's attempt to interfere in the procurement processes of the Electoral Commission will constitute a compromise of the independence of the Electoral Commission as enshrined in the Constitution of our country. And so, Mr. Speaker, it's as well that this amount is being allocated to the Electoral Commission, and I see that that is an increment of the allocation given to the Electoral Commission for the, compared to the 2020-25 allocation. The allocation for 2026 is over and above that of 2025. But that said, the point the majority there is made is one that I believe the House should pay particular attention to, but not only in respect of independent constitutional bodies, but the general budgeting framework of our country, even as it relates to a very important arm of government such as the legislature, parliament, and ensure that we have a system which makes these bodies which are to be independent, truly independent, as it relates to the Electoral Commission. Mr. Speaker, with this, I support the motion for the request of the said amount for the Electoral Commission of Ghana. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
May I be guided by leadership as to the agreement on contributions by members? Is it 1122? No agreement. Okay, so I'll handle them. Yes, Prof.
Yes, Speaker. I thank you for the further space given me in contributing to motion number 28. Mr. Speaker, I partly share the frustration of the leader of the House regarding the allocations given to the independent congressional bodies. I used to be on the Special Budget Committee, and I know the challenges. Mr. Speaker, I think that we need to tread cautiously, because if the challenge in terms of the inadequacy of the budgetary allocations to the independent congressional bodies is distinct from what is given to the ministries, departments, and agencies, then I'll be worried. What I've seen over the years is that the budgetary allocations are not even fully provided by the Finance Ministry. So what we should be doing is to ensure that the Finance Ministry, seeing the critical and crucial and relevant roles these institutions play, must ensure that they are given adequacy of resources for them to embark upon their work more effectively and efficiently. On that score, I also saw on the report, item number E, outstanding commitment, that EC was owing Toyota Ghana a sum of over 10 million cedis. And due to that, 2 of their vehicles were repossessed by the company. And I see this to be a worrying signal. And I want to urge the Finance Ministry that some of these commitments that are obligatory must be honored. Otherwise, it puts some form of a dent on the reputation of this country. So I will want to agree with Honorable Member from Tema East that, as a matter of urgency, these monies must be provided so that the vehicles can be gotten back for the EC to beef up the work that they do. On that score, Mr. Speaker, I also want to support the motion that the sum of 203,569,245 Ghana cedis be appropriated for the Electoral Commission. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for indulging me.
Honorable members, I think this is an important issue that has been raised. I listened to the debate earlier in the day, and this issue came up many times, and I think that is important because we are doing a constitutional review for us to emphasize the point that has been made by the majority leader. It's because of that, if you go through our standing orders, we have provided for a budget committee. And when you go to Order 235, you see clause 1 says the budget committee comprises a chairperson, a ranking member, a vice chairperson, a deputy ranking member, and not more than 13 other members. And 2 says the budget committee shall collaborate with the ministry responsible for finance and the office of the president in the initiation, formulation, and implementation of the national budget. And 3 says the budget committee shall A, consider and report to the House on Roman 1, the medium-term expenditure framework and the broad medium-term policy target. Roman 2, an appropriation bill laid before Parliament. Roman 3, a report laid in respect of budget reporting or expenditure in advance of appropriation. And B, consider the annual budget and determine whether the annual budget gives effect to Chapter 6 of the Constitution. I know what Chapter 6 deals with, the directive principles of state policy. Then C, analyze and report to the House the impact of tax waivers on the economy. And D, perform any other function assigned by Parliament. Finance, public financial management, economics, or any other related discipline to support memoranda, to submit memoranda, or provide any other assistance that the committee may require in the performance of the assigned functions. And so you have this main committee, the budget committee, when it comes to matters concerning the budget. It's true that we need to clarify some of the orders, as stated by the majority leader. Even when you are looking at the standing orders on committee or independent constitutional bodies, they are a bit general in nature. They should be more specific. But this is a beginning worth carrying forward and signaling to the Constitutional Reforms Committee that this is the position. In fact, I just drew the attention of the Table's office to the fact that what we're doing now is to adopt the reports of the committees. If you approve the reports now, then the appropriation bill will just capture what you have approved. So second reading will be onerous because there will be no need for you to start debating the policies and principles again of what you have approved generally in the House. And so what we're doing now is to move motions to adopt the reports of the committee. When they are now captured in the appropriation bill, it will come before the House where you now debate and approve what has been captured there as the various items to be approved for the utilization of the various MMDAs, the constitutional bodies, and Parliament and the judiciary. But between adoption of the reports, at least you should have given some idea to the executive if there is a need for reconsideration and for the elimination of some items from the budget. That could be done before they are captured in the appropriation bill for the consideration of the House. I think we should start doing it this way until we get the new Constitution, which will properly capture the sense of the House. And so I told the clerks at table that the motions should have been differently worded. That what you're doing now is adopting the reports of the committees. I have serious problems with them. I have raised issues with the Minister of Finance and His Excellency the President that we will need to realign some of these amounts to the priority areas that will even allow the President to lead the reset that he mentioned. The way things are going now, I don't think that can lead us to reset, because the agencies that anchor the programs, national programs, if not well resourced, you will not be able to change the existing framework, to start with the legal framework. Parliament has to do a lot to change many of the laws that we have. If not, we'll be caught by the existing law. And even though you have good intentions, legally, they will not be applicable. And until you amend the laws, you cannot implement the good ideas that you have. And so it means that Parliament has to work a lot. But what has been provided there for Parliament is woefully inadequate. The same for the audit service. The audit service, I just heard before I came in, the House adopting and approving it. You realize in the budget there's a provision to establish an audit value for money audit department. And there's a bill coming for us to do that. All that was being done by the audit service. And so if that is being done by the audit service, and you now think that there's a need to establish a specialized unit, they are all doing the same thing. That is auditing. One may be doing performance audit, one will be doing management audit, there is doing value for money audit, and you have various types. But what is provided for the audit service now is so inadequate that they will not be able to do the work we are doing, particularly as we have gone down to the district assemblies level and realize that your committees are being asked to now do audit work. And the local government and rural development committee, for example, started sitting like a public accounts committee. And so you need a lot of resources to be able to do this. We cannot continue to be budgeting the way we used to do. And so this is a very important matter that we should carry on board and make sure that we support the executive to realign the projections and the provisions they have made before this House. If not, please, let's forget about real democracy or true democracy, and we should stop deceiving ourselves. Please. There are some agencies, I think, in fact, this morning I heard you people talking about one of them, that is the OSP. And if you recall, during the deliberation on the OSP, a number of us stated on the floor of this House that there's no constitutional basis. But we wanted to signal to the world that we are going to fight corruption. At the end of the day, we have seen the results. And we cannot continue to allocate that huge sums to the same office when we are not getting the results. This is one of the agencies we should be looking at. It's getting almost the same amount like the Attorney General's Department. Please, let's face the bull by the horns and make sure that the right thing is done. And so I agree with the majority leader, and as we go through this, the Minister for Finance, I hope his representative is here. His deputy used to be around. Yes, the deputy, oh, after the deputy, I always see him. It's the minister who comes in from time to time, but the deputy is always around. I think majority leader will take note of it and apprise them of the discussions. And I'm happy that the House agreed that there will be some other committee of the whole or closed sitting to look at some of these major things. It's very, very important that as a House, we cannot continue to be failing the good people of Ghana. If we do our work well, we'll be able to curb corruption. We'll be able to hold the executive to account for its stewardship, not only in terms of money, but in terms of the trust that the people repose in leadership. It's very, very important. In the meantime, we may have to change the wordings of our motions that we can do in-house, and then we adopt the reports. And when it comes to the appropriation bill, then you have the opportunity to debate the policies and principles and then come out with the approvals of the estimates. With this, I put the question. And the question is that those in favor of motion item 28, say aye. Aye. Those against, say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. We now move to item 29, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, even before we take the motion, in your remarks, you raised the issue of the Office of Special Prosecutor and some discussions that took place earlier in this House. Mr. Speaker, I think that this House, as a body, needs to take some firm decision on the issue of the institution of the Office of Special Prosecutor and make sure that we take advantage and realign our Constitution properly. Mr. Speaker, yesterday, the office arrested and detained a legal practitioner by the name Mr. Martin Pȯwer. Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that that practitioner had publicly criticized the manner in which the special prosecutor was going about performing his functions. He was invited, and I'm told that at the entrance to the office of the special prosecutor, he sought to address the media, which was objected to by the security detail at the office. And I think there was some altercation between him and the security responsible for the building that houses the special prosecutor. Subsequently, he was ordered that he should be detained. It took the intervention of most Ghanaians on social media and people calling the special prosecutor and demanding that he should release the legal practitioner. Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader, the difficulty the House has is that this was extensively deliberated upon, led by your Majority Chief Whip. And so it will be like we are repeating what was said. For emphasis, you want it for emphasis? Well, if that's the sense of the House, I will grant him the opportunity, because I have a few things to say about this matter. But Majority Leader, they say for emphasis, you could go on. Yes.
Speaker, I support the Majority Leader fully in recanvassing the issues. And Speaker, he should do that with all the diligence, and we support him. Please proceed.
Honorable members, this matter is so endemic that it doesn't deal with any regime. Let's all be honest. It cuts across all the regimes and even goes beyond the constitutional bodies or even the OSP to a culture, even in the Ghana Police Service, the military, in fact, the security agencies. They think that when somebody is invited, the person is arrested. And the law is very clear on this matter. So please, don't let's bring partisanship into it. Let's look at it as we have all experienced it over the years and try to prescribe the way forward. So, Majority Leader, you may go on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, so the lawyer Martin Pȯwer was subsequently released last night, but it raises fundamental issues about the very existence of that office. Mr. Speaker, I recall vividly in this chamber when the proposal to establish the Office of Special Prosecutor was presented, I opposed it. I opposed it. The Hansard will bear me out, because I took a position that it is unconstitutional to strip the Attorney General of the power to be responsible for the prosecution of criminal cases. Even though there was a contrivance to struggle to appear to be aligning with the language of the Constitution by nuancing the processes for the appointment of the special prosecutor, and to say that the actual special prosecutor is being nominated by the Attorney General for approval by the Parliament. So in that sense, the exercise of the prosecutorial powers is being done by the OSP with the authorization of the Attorney General. It still doesn't make sense. The fact that we had to struggle and nuance the whole process clearly betrays the fact that we knew we were doing something that didn't sit well with our constitutional architecture. Mr. Speaker, the office has been in existence for how many years now? Close to 8 years. Tell me what is really the achievement of that office. What has been the achievement of that office? I cannot see my way clear in terms of the achievement of that office. I have consistently held the position that fighting corruption is not about littering the place with institutions. It is the political commitment of those who lead that fights corruption, not the designations of institutions that have been established. I believe that it is high time that this Parliament reconsiders its decision to approve the establishment of the Office of Special Prosecutor. I think that we should abolish it. I honestly think we should abolish it, because we've experimented it and we cannot see any achievement. Major cases of clear corruption. Up to date, the office has not been able to do anything. So it cannot do anything. If the institution of Attorney General that we establish in our Constitution is adequately resourced and protected by Parliament and held accountable by Parliament, I believe that that office will equally deliver. No ministry, no office is established. If you look at the cabinet, no office is expressly established by this Constitution apart from the Attorney General and Minister for Justice. It is the only one that is actually a constitutional entity. And so it is an entity that this Parliament should ensure that it is resourced and protected so that it stands above ordinary ministries and can ensure that criminality is dealt with in this country. Look at the budgeting. If we agree that a prosecutor fighting corruption needs to be resourced, why have we not been resourcing the Attorney General? Why do we establish an entity out of the functions of the Attorney General and resource them more than the Attorney General? And even after doing that, it is still not delivering. So, Mr. Speaker, yesterday I'm told, I didn't see it, but I'm told that your predecessor, the Right Honorable Michael Quay, who spoke here on TV3, indeed recommended that this House should abolish it, that we should use a private member's bill to abolish it. Mr. Speaker, let me sound a warning that abolishing it will not let off the hook, those who we are considering prosecuting for violations of the law when it comes to corruption. I can assure you that abolishing the office of special prosecutor will not let off anybody that is found culpable or who has violated any of the laws of this Ghana when it comes to financial accountability. Zacchaeus will not be let off the hook. I can assure you. So people should not see the call for the abolition of the office of special prosecutor as an indication that those who are going to be held accountable will be let off the hook. Indeed, I will ensure that the process is even expedited. But I am strongly of the conviction that the office of special prosecutor should be abolished. Whether we are going to do it through a private member's bill, as advised by Michael Quay, or that we will call on the executive to expedite a bill that we will consider and approve to abolish it, that is for us as a House to decide. But I think that it is high time we realize that that constitutional experiment is futile. To say that because the Attorney General is appointed by the President and is a member of a political party, that he will not be functional or effective in fighting corruption. The OSP, is he coming from space? Who is nominating him? The same political process is going to generate the occupant of the office of special prosecutor. So he will not be freed of that political pressure. If we want to be serious about fighting corruption, let's do it. Political leadership at the highest level must lead. This government has been in office for about 11 months now. Mr. Speaker, we haven't reported a single scandal. And we haven't reported a single scandal because of the political commitment to ensure accountability. And we are available. Show me any scandal and we will take the person on. Mr. Speaker, political corruption is a function of political leadership. If political leadership is determined not to be corrupt, they will not be corrupt. And when they are corrupt, they will hold each other accountable. It's not about creating fanciful institutions and giving them fanciful names. We have seen it. And big budgets with all sorts of perks. We've seen it. It's lived out and it's not working. Let's go back to what the Constitution has ordained. The money that we are giving to the Office of Special Prosecutor, let's resource the Attorney General's office. And I'm sure that this particular Attorney General will produce the kind of results that we expect of him. As it is now, there is some confusion in the system. Which corruption cases should the OSP, handle? Which one should the Attorney General handle? Which corruption cases should the YOCO investigate and which one should the OSP investigate? When there's a corruption case and one runs and then places its hands on it, then the other is clearly, disabled from dealing with it. Even if the one that has rushed first to take it is obviously not politically committed to fighting it. So there's clear confusion. Institutions obstructing each other. Powers blocking each other. So I think that we should use this opportunity to streamline it. Let one person lead the fight against corruption as stipulated by this Constitution. And that is the Attorney General, and that is the Minister for Justice, and that is what is provided for in our Constitution. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, this is a very important matter, but before we continue, let me acknowledge the presence of some distinguished guests, our colleagues and brothers and sisters from the Parliament of Liberia. We have 4 of them, led by Honorable Professor Thomas Romeo. The last name is Kuya. He's the head of the delegation and is the chairman of the Election and Inauguration the committee? Yes. Please, you are most welcome. We also have Honorable Ellen Ato Ray, who is the chairperson for the Women Legislative Caucus of Liberia. We have the Councillor at Law, Ramses T. Kubuya. He is a rep of the Law Reform Commission of Liberia. And then the Councillor at Law, Ernestine Morgan, the representative from the National Electoral Commission. On behalf of the Parliament of Ghana, I warmly welcome you to your own country, the Republic of Ghana, and I wish you all the best. Take time not only to learn, but also to feel the pulse of the life of Ghana. I was there not long ago when you had those crises, and I'm sure my good friend, the speaker now, is managing, even though it's a difficult situation. A lot of our members visit you almost every weekend, and some of them say that Liberia is their second home. So please, you are warmly welcome. Yes, let me listen to Honorable Abu Jinapo on this matter before I come to the Minister for Local Government.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity, as you've rightly pointed out, to contribute to this very important subject. So, Speaker, first of all, I think it's absolutely important that we point out that the intendment and the motivation behind the Akufo-Addo government effort and decision to create this office was a noble one. So, Speaker, I was Deputy Chief of Staff at the time this office was created, and I was very much involved in the deliberations and discussions leading up to the establishment of the office. And the general intent, Mr. Speaker, was really, as is captured by Hansard, was to ensure that we had a dedicated office which was focused on fighting corruption, unraveling corruption, investigating corruption, and punishing corruption. So, Speaker, you will agree that in some jurisdictions, particularly in the American jurisdiction, the concept of special prosecutor is very common. And then in Africa, you have South Africa. So, Speaker, yes, I take the point the majority there is made, and also to say that the legal question, in my view, Mr. Speaker, is not absolutely settled. Because if you look at Article 88 of our national constitution, Mr. Speaker, particularly Article 88.4, where all prosecutorial powers, criminal prosecutorial powers, are vested in the Attorney General. So, Speaker, today in our country, police prosecutors conduct criminal prosecutions. IOCO conduct criminal prosecutions. Yes, several institutions, SNIT and others, conduct criminal prosecutions. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, the question which arises is whether or not the Office of the Special Prosecutor is exercising delegated prosecutorial powers. Mr. Speaker, the answer to that, I think, is still at large, and I'll leave it at that. But in any event, Mr. Speaker, it is this Parliament that enacted a law to establish the Office of Special Prosecutor. That said, and by that I say that I do not have today conclusive answers to the legal questions. They were deliberated upon. They may not have been grounded. They may have been grounded. But the intention and the intent of President Akufo-Addo and his government is one that I believe we should celebrate, which is that he intended to set up an office dedicated to fighting corruption. Mr. Speaker, today, the question, has the Office of Special Prosecutor 8 or 9 years down the road achieved results? Or, Mr. Speaker, do they have any significant achievements when it comes to the fight against corruption? Those are matters before this House. Those are matters before the country. Those are matters that I believe the jury is out there. Has it been a successful office? Has it not? Mr. Speaker, the question is still at large, and we all have a take on it. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, the leader of government business, the leader of this House, the majority leader, has had cause to rise up in this House to indicate that the Office of Special Prosecutor is not an office which is fit for purpose. Mr. Speaker, he's even gone a step further. He's gone to the extent of indicating that the Office of Special Prosecutor is an unconstitutional body. It's an unconstitutional office. That's exactly the point the majority leader is making. That the existence of the Office of Special Prosecutor is at variance with the provisions of our national constitution. Mr. Speaker, 1 year down the road, they build an office. They have a super majority. What are they telling us? What are they telling us? Mr. Speaker, this country, with the greatest respect, is sick and tired of talk. Talk, talk, talk. The leader of government business is not just the majority leader. He's a leader of government business. He's a leader of this House. He sits in cabinet. Mr. Speaker, he has indicated that when the bill was tabled before this House, he, as member of Parliament, member of the 8th Parliament, Mr. Speaker, he said he opposed the establishment of the Office of Special Prosecutor. And he indicates that his party, the NDC, opposed the establishment of the Office of Special Prosecutor. I have just indicated the policy rationale or the policy motivation for the establishment of that office by the Akufo-Addo government. Just because you yourself, you've indicated that you were also opposed to it. Just because today, the political party that opposed the establishment of the office, the member of that political party who opposed it in the 8th Parliament, today majority leader, leader of government business, in the wisdom of the Ghanaian people, they have given them a super majority. Super majority. They have majority in this House. They have a super majority. Why? What's happening? What's happening in our country, Mr. Speaker? You just made that point about allocation. And you made a point about reset and the fact that we may struggle with the reset. Too much talking. The country needs action. If you believe the Office of Special Prosecutor is not fit for purpose, you have the majority, you call us micro-minority, we are mighty minority indeed. Repeal it. What are you waiting for? 1 year down the road, we are still being given sermons and being given lectures and being told that this office is unconstitutional. Mr. Speaker, because with the greatest of respect, one of their own was touched. Because one of their own was touched. And Mr. Speaker, you just made that point not too long ago, that we should be careful when we enact laws and when we apply the laws. Mr. Speaker, because when you're on the right-hand side of the speaker, and certain actions are being taken, Mr. Speaker, many a times we just tend to think that it will not affect us. Mr. Speaker, needless to point out that the history is here. The history is there for us to appreciate that the law on causing financial loss to the state, Mr. Speaker, is only caught up with people or persons from the side which passed the law, which is why the point the Speaker made is a very important point. The law, when it's respected and when it's applied fairly, works for all of us, regardless of where you find yourself. Of course, lawyer Martin Kpebu is somebody I know very well. And indeed, yesterday, Mr. Speaker, when I heard the news that he had been arrested by the Office of Special Prosecutor, I even attempted to reach out to him. But it should never be the case, Mr. Speaker, that when Wontumi is arrested and put behind bars and told to bring bail conditions of 100 million Ghana cedis, and he stays in prison for 1 month, 2 months, Mr. Speaker, when we all know too well that basic teaching of law, criminal law, tells you that bail should never be used as a form or a means of punishment. That one, it is okay. Mr. Speaker, when Osei is still in custody today because he's been subjected to onerous and reasonable bail conditions which he cannot meet, Mr. Speaker, he's been told to satisfy a bail condition of 650 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, that one is fine. When bail should not be used as a tool of punishment. We didn't hear the majority leader. Mr. Speaker, when several other people, look, Mr. Speaker, we have seen it in this country several times. Government changes, and then some of these measures are put in place. Political opponents are put behind bars. When Paul Adumochi was arrested by the OSP, the Office of Special Prosecutor, because allegedly Paul Adumochi had been critical of the office, when he was arrested and put behind bars, Mr. Speaker, and some of us raised our voices, the majority leader's voice and the majority side was mute. Because today, it is lawyer Martin Kwebu. Mr. Speaker, when the law is applied unfairly against Wontumi, it is bad. When it's applied unfairly against Osei-Tubi, it is bad. When it's applied against Paul Adumochi, it is bad. When it is applied against Martin Kwebu, Mr. Speaker, it is indeed bad. We make laws and make good laws to the best of our ability for all of us, and we respect the law for all of us. Mr. Speaker, I want to conclude. Mr. Speaker, I want to conclude by indicating that what happened yesterday is a wake-up call to all of us. That when the law is applied unfairly against a citizen, it doesn't matter whether he's from the north or the south. Mr. Speaker, it doesn't matter whether he's an NDC member or an MPP member. Let us insist, that is our only safeguard, that if the Honorable Mahama Yarga is suspected to have committed an offense, he should be taken through proper due process. His rights should be respected. If it is Abu Jinapo, I should be taken through due process. My rights should be respected. Mr. Speaker, that is the only way we can build a civilized, prosperous nation. That's the only way. It should not be the case that the Office of Special Prosecutor suddenly should be scrapped because Martin Kwebu is being taken through a raw deal. No. And I conclude, Mr. Speaker, with this quote. With this quote by Martin Niola. And I quote, Mr. Speaker, he said of Nazi Germany, first they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out. They came for the unionists, and I did not speak out. They came for the Jews, and I did not speak out. And when they came for me, there was no one to speak out for me. Mr. Speaker, I end the quote. I thank the majority leader for the sentiments he's expressed. And Mr. Speaker, I thank you too for the opportunity you've given. And I thank you also for the sentiments you've expressed. Mr. Speaker, today, the 4th of December, the super majority join us, we, the advocates of rule of law, the bastions of rule of law, the originators of rule of law, the promoters of rule of law, the doyens of rule of law. Shake off your revolutionary tendencies a bit. Shake it off and join us, Mr. Speaker, to let the rule of law prevail. When it prevails for Honorable Mahama Yarga, it prevails for Abu Jinapo, it prevails for all of us, all the people of Ghana. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, please, as leaders of the country, if we don't change our attitude, we'll never achieve anything. That is the biggest problem. I don't think there's moral authority in this House to pontificate on this matter. Please, let's all start afresh. Let's all start afresh. I'm surprised you are not Honorable Samuel Abu Jinapo. I was expecting you to quote traditional wisdom, not from Germany. Because we have it here too. In our traditional norms and wise saying, we use 3 cattle. You are aware that used to fight the lion. And the lion was able to go in between them and said, it's the red cow. It's telling you the black cow that is because of its strength that they overpower the lion. You know about that. You are not quoting that. You are quoting Germany because of the formal education. That has changed all of you from being Ghanaian. You are talking about the rule of law. It started long before colonial rule. And you are quoting later day saints. That's the challenge we have. But I don't want any family dissing here. So I'll give it to the minister. I'll give it to the minister. That is why I say family. I don't want that fatherly respect here. I'll allow the Minister for Local Government. We just finished listening to Honorable Samuel Abu Jinapo.
Thank you very much.
Please.
Right, Honorable Speaker. Right, Honorable Speaker, before I proceed to make some few comments, let me thank the Honorable Mahama Yarga, the majority leader of this House, for his consistent and principled position. Honorable Speaker, I'm saying this because not only him, and I believe my brother Abu Jinapo is young in this House and was not here when we were passing the Special Prosecutors Law. He was not a member of Parliament, and that was in the 7th Parliament. At that time, he was the Deputy Chief of Staff. So he was not present to listen to the critical issues and the superior argument that was made by the then 106 minority member in this House. Right, Honorable Speaker, your good self, the Honorable Haruna Idrisu, who was the then minority leader, the Honorable Mahama Yariga, who was the then chairman of the subsidiary committee of this House, before he became the chairman of the Constitutional and Legal Committee, ranking. Right, Honorable Speaker, your good self, we made extensive, superior debate that you did not need the special prosecutor before you can fight corruption. And right, Honorable Speaker, the records are there between we and them, and the modus operandi are there. In 2015, when Ghana achieved 48 out of 100, we didn't have special prosecutor. It was by President Mahama. In 2014, when Ghana achieved 47, we didn't have a special prosecutor. It was under President Mahama in fighting corruption. The Transparency International Corruption Perception Index records are clear, and the difference between we and you is clear. Without a special prosecutor, right, Honorable Speaker, your good self, in 2017, when we were 106 and they were 169, the supermajority did not begin today. They were 169. The distinguished Emeritus Professor Makokwe, seated in this chair, he supervised it. And I know, if for nothing at all, speakers of Parliament are independent. Even to unseat them, you need 3/4. It's the most difficult thing to do. So nobody tied his hands. He had 169 members. We were here. We raised every argument. You even started from independent prosecutor. Before you were whitewashing it, before you arrived at the special prosecutor, the Hansard is there to bail us out. We said everything. We said everything. Oh. Right on. You see? Right, Honorable Speaker. You see? Clearly. Oh. I've said that the difference in fighting corruption between we and you is clear. And right, Honorable Speaker, you remember, you said it, that the special prosecutor as a second deputy speaker then, Mr. Speaker, your good self, you made a superior argument here, that the special prosecutor was not coming to serve any good purpose. I still remember. The Honorable Muhammad Yariga made similar argument. We were perceived as if we did not want the special prosecutor and we did not want to fight corruption. We said, do it and let us see. How many of your colleagues are there?
Where's the finance minister?
Let's put that one aside. Mr. Speaker, even your presence in the chair and your opening of parliament to fight corruption alone was able to help fight corruption more than even the special prosecutor. If parliament would do its work well, when they had the 169, we were just here. Every law that came, every opposition we staged, they would tell you, put the question. They had the numbers. That is what you did. But Mr. Speaker,
So why are you crying?
under your leadership,
So why are you crying?
this good parliament in the 8th parliament,
Is there corruption? Is there
you reduce parliament to fighting corruption and making sure that the few eroded democratic dividend that was eroding, you restored it. And that is how this parliament became the most open parliament in Africa. Was that by the special prosecutor? No. So, Mr. Speaker, we were just here. Is Professor Okwe telling us today that when we were passing the special prosecutor law, he didn't know what we were doing? He knew. So yesterday, I also listened to him when he was saying that we did not need that one, that he opened a private members bill. So we could come by private members bill to trash it out. Mr. Speaker, I will even go for that. But before I get there, President Mahama will not come and say that he's bringing a law to take special prosecutor away. You have just started saying that we don't want to fight it. This House, the Speaker, can come with a private members bill and trash it out. That is the window open to all of us. But Mr. Speaker, from January to date, using Parliament and getting a strong political will from His Excellency the President, how many political scandals have you gotten?
Zero.
How many corruption cases have we received? How many corruption scandals have we seen under President Mahama from January to date? You don't need special prosecutor to fight corruption. All you need is to get an open speaker seated in this chair, opening parliament to investigate every case. Mr. Speaker, that's what you stood for. And that's why we are achieving this. Mr. Speaker, I'm a cabinet minister. President Mahama has told all the cabinet ministers, and including all his ministers, like, look, as for me, I'm here. Anybody who go and commit any scandal, I'll fire you. That alone has put a scare on all of us. Everybody is ruling with diligence. Everybody is ruling with critical, ethical governance principle. And he himself, the Speaker, he himself is saying,
Listen.
Mr. Speaker, he himself, he's always concerned about the future and this country. So, Mr. Speaker, we don't need a special prosecutor. When Mama Yariga criticized the establishment of that office, he was the first victim. You don't have to personalize that office, using state office to chase your critics. Mama Yariga criticized the establishment of special prosecutor's office, and he was the first victim there. It took him for buying ambulance for his place. He was taken for so many times before a successor special prosecutor came and said there was no, that it was not a case, merit of casing, and he won it. That's because, so why did you put him through all those ordeals when he did not do anything wrong? Because he criticized the establishment of that office. The same way, lawyer Martin Kwebu also criticized the current one, and he is running after him with the whole Special Prosecutor's Office. Mr. Speaker, if even as I stand here, talking now, Mr. Speaker, is it that we cannot criticize state offices? And should we use state offices to pursue our political or our personal opponents who criticizes us? Mr. Speaker, how many times have you been criticized? Even the longest serving legislator in this country. But you've opened up. With your experience, Mr. Speaker, Parliament can help fight corruption. Parliamentary committees, Mr. Speaker, local government committees sit in open, public accounts sit in the open, most parliament committees sit in the open. That alone can help fight corruption. What you need is having a strong ethical leader like President Mahama. With strong corruption fight records, endorsed by the Transparency International as the most fighter of corruption in Ghana than any president. And Mr. Speaker, with Africa endorsing you as the most open parliament and the most open speaker, even with 188 or 89 MPs, with super majority, what can you use these numbers for? But you are still protecting divergent views and the consent of the minority to safeguard democracy. Mr. Speaker, Ghana is blessed in having you. Mr. Speaker, we are blessed in having you. And with you in the chair, I was always worried, seated here, when Parliament was only interested in passing laws. Mr. Speaker, you changed the jail. You have changed everything. Parliament was just passing laws. And even in passing the laws, some could go to the Supreme Court and could be trashed. And today the Speaker himself is saying that some of the laws are not even needful. Then what were we doing when you had 169? What were we doing? Mr. Speaker, I can foresee if this 189 was Anderson regime, miracles would have happened. But thank God it is you. And it is President Mahama in the chair. On that note, my brother Abu Dinapo is not there. On that note, Mr. Speaker, with the special prosecutor, the highest mark of President Akufo-Addo in fighting corruption was 43/100. Corruption perception index is 43/100. Mr. Speaker, he will go to 40, 43, 40, 43, 40, 43. He couldn't pass 43. Mr. Speaker, the worst performance of President Mahama in fighting corruption was 43. The highest was 48. The medium was 47. Our worst performance in fighting corruption was your highest mark. Between we and you. The records are clear. That is the records. What you could say was that, oh, we have given this budget to the special prosecutor. We have given this budget to the Attorney General. We have given this budget. We've given more money to the corruption fighting institutions. And what was your record? What was your record? So, Mr. Speaker, on that note, I go by the proposal for the scrapping of the Special Prosecutor's Office and resourcing the Attorney General and Minister for Justice Office. That is what we use and have the highest mark in fighting corruption. You don't create bureaucracies and think that you are fighting corruption. You don't create bureaucracies and think you are fighting corruption. Mr. Speaker, on that note, my colleagues on the other side, I have now seen clearly that in the corruption debate, in fighting corruption, we are far better than them. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Honorable members, I think the message from the House is clear. And we are happy that we have senior members outside the House, former speakers, supporting this message. And so we'll proceed not to direct you, but to urge you on to do what is proper. If we all agree that it is serving no purpose, we know what to do as a House. And so we'll do that. Secondly, I'm grateful to the House, very grateful to the House, because a delegation which is being led by His Excellency to a conference in Qatar is called upon to sponsor a motion for the whole world to take a position on fighting corruption. His Excellency will be there before we get there. And after him, I may be leading the delegation at the conference. And we want to put this position of Ghana across to the whole world as to the best way to fight corruption. And so I'm happy that the House is giving us this signal. And I'll call upon my delegation to take copies of the Hansard.
Thank you for watching. If you really enjoyed this video, please do leave a comment below. Like and also share to other members to watch as well. Don't just listen, share to others to also have a benefit of what is going on in the political arena. Do subscribe as well. Until next time, keep watching PENDREAM TV. Thank you.
PENDREAM TV now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.